Coming to the end of the day, Nick Dutch. A little bit cream crackered. That's an English expression for those of you who don't know cream crackered, which would be Cockney rhyming slang for knackered, which would of course mean exhausted. I've just come back from doing the Toastmasters Club tonight, and I've won the competition for impromptu speaking, and I'll now have to go and compete at another time in about two weeks or thereabouts. So wish me luck for that. Okay, so what have I discussed with you in this recent blurting of videos that I've been doing on my channel? I've been trying to break down from the point of view predominantly of ceremonial magic. Okay, we're using the word magic here to mean the attempt to create changes of states of consciousness as well as to adjust perception, intention and attention, and to change the states, the shape of our perceptions in order to try and allow something anomalous to happen. Quite obviously, that if anything happens in the world, under any conditions whatsoever, it has to be by its nature natural. We use phrases such as paranormal and supernatural by means of expressing the fact that these things are rare and strange things seem to be involved with them. Okay, obviously anything which is paranormal or supernatural isn't. It is natural. If something happens, it has to be in accordance with the laws of nature, no matter what those laws of nature are, many of which I guess, the experts are still working at. We only know about 5% of the universe, according to what the scientists say. The rest of it is dark energy and dark matter. There's all kinds of other stuff going on around and about, which could be providing a hypothetical explanation. But the only thing that we need to know is that we're somehow constrained by the limitation of our senses, our physical senses, the spectrum of light we're able to see, the spectrum of sound we're able to hear, the things we have the capacity to feel with touch, and of course smell and taste, and trying to put all of that together into a cohesive picture, which is what you're doing right now. Interesting fact. Everything you see with your physical eyes is to a certain extent hallucination, because it's been turned upside down in the brain and things have happened to try and fit in everything else. The only thing that you can see that's perfectly sharp is right in the middle of your field of vision. Everything else is very blurred, but your mind turns it into something which feels like it's a sharp, solid physical world, right? So even in normal life, normal physical life, our perceptions and our perceptual ability is kind of like constrained and controlled, and most of our neurogenesis and neuroplasticity has been to help us to survive as physical material beings. When we move into the space of attempting to have spiritual experience, then we're moving into something else. We have a different sense of perception. We have a different sense of something because our brain waves, our brain chemistry, or something else upstairs is a bit different. Which is why periodically, if you're in prayer, you can end up feeling open and suddenly seeing an aura of a priest. So that sort of thing. One would assume that the more you do your developmental exercises, let's say for a fixed period of time every day and every night, the more you can train yourself up. The occultic statement of invoke frequently or invoke often is possibly somehow connected to that, because you're getting your brain to do the same thing. If you were to do precisely the same ritual in your room, okay, you did your candles, you did your incense, you conjure your elements, you did that every single night for 40 days and 40 nights, okay, every single night. That would provide a bit of neurogenesis and neuroplasticity. If you were to learn juggling, okay, 3-ball juggling, for the first time, and you practice for 20 minutes every single day for a couple of weeks, there will be changes in your brain structure. This can be measured. This can be observed using brain scans and EEGs and all the other technological stuff which they have. So what we are is people who is trying to have an experience. The result of the experience becomes the ability to deliver healing energy at times. Not that it's necessarily something that you could say cures disease, but you can deliver the energy and the person will feel the energy being delivered. You may get some of the weird experiences I've had. I mean, all the things I've been through. There's been the angel of death experience, which I've spoken about before. There's been the astral projections. There's been the prophetic dreams. There's been spiritual communications, there's been perception over distance, and starting to move into sort of like the more sort of like entity orientation, which is where I'm going now. It's a very strange journey. But in order to, I suppose, enhance the effect, as I mentioned in the previous video, think about brainwave synchronization as well. Practice with binaural beats or brainwave entrainment technology, provided of course you don't have a heart condition or epilepsy or migraines or any other form of seizure complaint. For everybody, for anyone who's like that, then stick to mantra meditation, because that should be okay for you, and then learning how to open up bit by bit. That is essentially, in essence, the way of life of being a person who does this stuff. I do struggle with the terminology we've got within magic, within witchcraft, within occultism, and I struggle with it a lot because it doesn't really necessarily help. I mean, if you're going to treat this stuff as being part of your spirituality, then you got to do that in a way which is appropriate and spiritual. If you're going to treat this as part of your personal growth, you've got to do plenty of research into what ways it can help your personal growth, and then to make decisions as to what particular developmental exercises you're going to try and focus on to try and give yourself the training that you think you require at the time. In part it's a lifestyle of contemplation, because I'm trying to read things, I'm trying to learn things, I'm trying to use things like, my various tools to try and assist me in opening up. And there's a certain level that I seem to have reached, which is still quite low in spiritualistic terms, but I'm kind of like moving into this new state of awareness whereby more mediumship orientated stuff could possibly be a direction to go in within the next couple of years. I do not know, to be honest. So my plan for myself right now is to just carry on experimenting, experiencing, and see what I can do, and then hopefully we'll be able to create some variety of cohesive, complete understanding of the magical arts for the purposes of preparing science to take this stuff seriously. I mean, essentially when I'm talking about entities and that kind of stuff, that's not the sort of thing that they will be interested in. So fine, that's not what we're going to explain to them. We're going to explain more about intention and willpower and transcendental states and intention, attention, and that sort of thing. There is something genuine here, there is something real here, but it's just been very badly explained to you. To the most part, we're experimenting with psi phenomena, and we have to sit with that. We have to accept that. We have to accept the limitations of our research and investigation. I mean, one of the fun experiments you could do, on the basis you've mastered the preparatory exercises, the ascension meditation, the chakra opening up, the body scan, alright? And then you shift your perception and your intention. You can, after a period of time, shift your perception, your intention, your attention to receptiveness, and then ask a question, as if you're talking to your personal spirit guides. And just see what happens. If the state is sufficiently expanded, there's a possibility that you could get something interesting coming through. Again, the feeling of building it up. It's not a question like rainy Saturday afternoon, okay, I'm just going to summon the devil and we're going to have some fun with him, shall we? That'll be fun, won't it? No, this is planning, preparation. This is repeated invocations over a period of time. Regularly practicing various different things. And then wherever that skill development takes you will be where you'll end up. Okay? Researching other people's thoughts is important. But it doesn't really necessarily guide you. It's a question of looking out for those connections between ideas, connections between experiences. I mean, essentially, like, on the basis of experience, I would be able to say all kinds of things. but I'm just rather cautious about it because I want to make sure that I'm explaining myself well. In this state of opening up further, which I'm reaching into, I think the more fun will start to happen. So we just have to see how it goes.